feel fulfilled. You get, and that is where the issue is, and that is where we have lots of problems currently.
Hello guys, you are welcome back to my channel and Discoveries. And like I mentioned in the previous video, we are going to be talking about parenting in the next couple of weeks. But then today, I'm not going to dive into the topics yet, but we're going to ask ourselves some questions. So if you're a parent, I want you to pay attention to these questions and just ask yourself. When you ask yourself, try and answer it. After that, we'll now go into our topics. So we'll be talking about love languages of children, we're talking about the developmental stages, we're talking about parenting styles, and other more juicy information that I'll be sharing with you. And so do well to subscribe so that whenever I do something new, you will be able to view it, to watch it, yeah. And so my first question, so this is what I want you to ask yourself. Do I want what's good for my child or what's best? Whenever you're doing something for your child, ask yourself, is it what is good or what is best? So for instance, maybe your child is working and your child is going to fall. Are you going to grab the child because you don't want the child to get hurt? Or would you allow the child to fall and learn from his or her mistake? Which one would you do? Now the second question, do I measure my success as a parent by the quality of the relationship or by how effective I can control my child? So how do you measure your success? Is it by the quality of the relationship you have with your child, or is it by how you control your child? So your child is doing something, scream, hey, stop, and then you're happy, hey, my child, you're going to see me, don't mess up. Or your child will not mess up just because, no, I love mommy, I love daddy, I don't want them to be disappointed. How do you measure your success? The third question, do I speak to my child as if he or she is destined for success? How do you talk to your children? You just talk to them anyhow, or you talk to them because I know my daughter or my son has capabilities. I know you can do it. How do you talk to your child? The fourth question, do I say the following things to my child? I am proud of you. Have you ever told your child, I'm proud of you? Have you ever told your child, I believe in you? Have you ever told your child, you can do it? Have you ever told your child, I'm there for you, or I'm here for you? Have you ever told your child, I love you? Have you ever told your child, I am sorry, or I was wrong? Or you still say, okay, the adult is always right. Have you ever apologized to your child? Have you ever asked your child for forgiveness? You did something you know it is wrong. Have you ever said, I'm sorry, forgive me? Have you ever said thank you to your child before? Have you ever asked your child, what do you think about this? Or whatever you say is the final decision. Ask yourself those questions. We'll go on a short break, and then we'll continue with our next questions. So we move to our fifth question, and it says, am I trying to make my child successful just so I will feel successful? Are you trying to get your child to become a doctor, a lawyer, a pilot, just because you could not become a lawyer? Or is it because that is what your child wants? Are you trying to get your child to become a footballer just because you are also a footballer and your child must become a footballer? How are you measuring the success of your child? Is it by what you want or what the child actually wants? Ask yourself. Now our sixth question, do I recognize that I am responsible to my child, not for my child? And so should your child do something wrong, it is not your doing. Your own is to make sure that you provide love, care, support. But assuming your child decides that, okay, whatever that your mommy is teaching me, I will not do it, that should not be your downfall. You understand? So ask yourself, do I recognize that I am responsible to my child and not for my child? So for their behaviors, their attitudes, whatever they do, you are not responsible for that. You are responsible to. But ask yourself, which one do you fall within? Now the seventh one say, do I model the behavior that I want my child to exhibit? So you ask your child, okay, what new word have you learned today? Why don't you start by saying, okay, so today this is what I learned. What about you? So whatever behavior you want your child to actually exhibit, are you modeling it first? Ask yourself. Your presence now. Okay, so to our eighth question, Do I focus more on what my child does or on who she is becoming? Which one do you focus on? Is it what your child does? On who your child is becoming? Are you focusing on, okay, hey, my child in school, my child can do this, my child can do that, or you're focusing on whatever my child is doing, is it leading my child to what my child wants? Which one do you do? And then to our ninth question, do I end every lecture with love? So assuming your child does something wrong, how do you end your discussion with your child? Do you end by saying, I'm so disappointed, I'm angry, I'm mad, and you just storm out on me? Or after everything, do you let your child know that, okay, what you did is wrong? It doesn't stop the love I have for you. Just know that I expect more from you. How do you end your lecture with your child? Is it in love or in anger? Answer that question. And then to our final question, do I ask my child to make a commitment or do I force her into doing things? I have a lot of friends who say, oh yeah, I can play the piano. My mother would just not let me sleep. I had to learn it. Then I asked, do you still play the piano? Not really, but I can try something. So in such an instance, you know that the child was forced. The child was not committed to it. So whatever your child is doing, is it because your child is committed to it or is it because you want your child to do it? I want you to pause and ask yourself these questions. And so all these questions, I did not generate them, but then in the research to give you guys the best, I found them and I realized these are questions that every parent needs to ask themselves just to be able to understand the kind of style they are working, understand how they are actually raising their children. But then we'll go much deeper into the parenting style and the love languages later. Okay, let's go on a short break. I want to live my life with... Okay, so before I will dive into each topic that I have mentioned, in fact there are other more. I had conversations with some teachers, some parents, what they would want teachers to know, what they want parents to know. And so all of that will come up. But before that, I want to share a trip with you. You know, and there's some place I went to that I think you should also visit. And so that will be next week. And then after that, we will go deeper into parenting and parenting styles and everything that I have learned about parenting. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, don't forget to like, and do well to share comments with me, whatever it is. Probably there's something you want to ask, something you want to know, or a suggestion you want to make. Feel free. I had one parent sending me some things that he was like, oh, your last video you spoke about parenting and I have these ideas I think you should share. And so please feel free to give me more ideas. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Anna Musafina, but you can call me, Miss Mo. And so see you on our next video. God bless you. Shalom. Bye. Send me to do